I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All 6 of them.
Who are you?
Welcome to Upworld. He's an LA cop. He's a gnome. Right, a gnome. He's hot on the trail of $1 million. He's after the Blue Man. Right. Meet Gallagher and Gnorm. 2 guys with nothing in common.
Giant roadblocks.
Well, almost nothing.
Take it easy, will you? You gotta concentrate.
They've got to work together and get it together before everything blows apart. Upworld. The normal, it's not.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from a very nice guy named DC. He actually requested 2 films. And if anyone wants to request any type of videos, reviews, topics, reactions, re-reviews, or anything random, pretty much anything, you feel free to send me either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Now, this is for a film called A Gnome Named Gnorm, also known as Upworld, which I guess was filmed in 1988, was released for a little bit in 1990, then re-released in 1992. But then I remember finding like a advertisement that street date on VHS 1994. So I don't really know when the hell this came out, technically. Some places say 1990, so I'll just go with that. And this was directed by Stan Winston. One of 2 films he directed. He did Pumpkinhead. Awesome film. Love Pumpkinhead. Then he did this movie. And it's hard to call this a rant because, you understand, I just saw Neil Breen movies, nostalgia critic movies, robo-vampires, and haunted fucking cornfield movies, and Kingdom of Vars, and Pocket Ninjas, and all sorts of holy shit. And when you see that shit, A Gnome Named Gnorm ain't nothing. But I can't call this a good movie. I would at least say I don't think it's good, but it's just one of those... It's an interesting failure. People are like, really? Yeah. A total failure. Again, watch Dark Harvest 2, The Maze, or Pocket Ninjas, or fucking... the one movie that had animal fucking in it that I reviewed and I completely forgot about and someone reminded me. And now I've already forgotten the fucking movie again. Has like goat fucking in it. And I already forgot the fucking movie. Like movies like that are shit. Like this, at least some of the effects of the title character I appreciate. Although it looks a little bit stiff at times. I do see some work was put into it, and I do enjoy that aspect. It at least went at a pace that was enough that I wasn't too bored with the movie. And I do like Anthony Michael Hall, who's the star of this film. Although I do think he was miscast because he was way too young for the part. And it's definitely not one of his best roles. But I do like Anthony Michael Hall as an actor. You also have Claudia Christian, who I enjoy, who was in Maniac Cop 2. She was on the TV show Babylon 5, among others. I mean, I like Claudia Christian. Jerry Orbach. Jerry Orbach worked with Steven Seagal in Out for Justice. He's been in quite a few other movies. Universal Soldier, he was in that. And so, yeah, it's definitely a very silly film. I don't know if this is an idea that could ever have worked. But let's do a buddy movie where a cop teams up with a gnome named Gnorm. It's kind of like Theodore... Was it Theodore Rex? Which is better? I probably would say this. Yeah, I probably would say this. Theodore Rex seemed, with his jokes, even more sad. This one, okay, get into it. Anthony Michael Hall plays a cop, which he was 20 years old when he made the film. Like, again, if the film was made in 1988 and took years to get out, it's steeped. He was literally 20 years old, but yet he's supposed to be a cop, and he looks like he's 16. So to buy him as his cop, I just don't think he was the right guy for this. Like I said, I love Weird Science, The Breakfast Club. I even later on love his work on the Dead Zone TV show. But he just seems way too fucking young for this part. And his character is pretty obnoxious because he's not taking the undercover work seriously. He's fucking around on his playground, sliding and swings. And because he's fucking around, he gets his ass knocked out like the idiot he is, the character. Which leads to this other guy getting blown up by a suitcase. And this gnome named Gnorm witnesses it. So, sooner or later, Anthony Michael Hall is looking around, finds this little sack, drives home, someone else is in the car, and it's this gnome. There's a bit of a fight, struggle. Well, he knocks it out, puts it in a cage, then leads to a fight and struggle, and then finally it starts talking in broken English. And I do wonder if that was the right call to have it in broken English and not just taught normally. It's like, well, Yoda talks that way. I'm like, well, it's not fucking Yoda, is it? The Gnome Named Gnorm, like I said, the effect looks pretty decent. With the animatronics and... yeah, there was some care put into this. Like I said, there are times it's a little bit stiff, like when it yawns, like... like... It's not a smooth... I would say like the Ninja Turtles, those animatronics, maybe it helps because their features a bit more basic face-wise compared to Norm. But, especially in Secret of the Ooze, seem more fluid animatronic-wise than this. But maybe it was limitations of budget, because I would bet those probably had more of a budget than this. I don't know what the budget is, but I'm guessing it was lesser. So I appreciate that. I mean, it's a unique idea, at least. It's not your typical idea, and I'm a sucker for buddy movies and buddy cop films. What's the difference? Well, buddy movie as in Harold and Kumar, Bill and Ted, Dumb and Dumber, or buddy cop like 48 Hours, Bad Boys, Lethal Weapon, Tango and Cash. You know, I love both of those franchises, so I'm a sucker for them. But again, I do wonder, could this have ever worked? I don't know. And really, Norm, he's just a fucking pervert. He's just horny all the time. I mean, the first, like, Anthony Michael Hall tries to show Claudia Christian it, and it hides. And the Norm's ready to grope her ass. Ready to squeeze the ass cheeks. I don't blame him, because Claudia Christian's pretty, but you kind of need permit. He's like 2 sections away from a sexual harasser being put on the list. He's a pervert. From me to you. From me to you. For anyone who's going to get that. But he's always talking about popos and pukas and nice roundies and nice popos. And he's tit and ass man. Especially an ass man. Granted, I don't blame him, so I guess I can relate to him. I guess it's one of those things. It's not the norm, no pun intended, to have a gnome be that much of a horny talking about ass all the time. He talks about more ass than Andrew Dice Clay at times, it seems. Again, can I really blame him? But it's just like, that's usually some of the jokes that goes into. Like, once they're on the case, because what Norm is a gnome that there's this crystal named the Lumen. Every 10 years go up, have it recharged by the sun, and they'll go back down and power their society. Usually a warrior does that, but he's not a warrior. He's a simple guy. He wants to impress some babe that we never see. We never see any of the other gnomes. We never see his world. We never see his civilization. I didn't budget. So he goes up, but then he loses it. Now he wants it back. Otherwise his society is fucked. And so really, like, with the rest of the film, it's a bad guy steals it. The gnome bites a bad guy's ass, but the bad guy escapes. They're looking at a beach. The gnome perverts around, giant popos and whistling. Spit handshakes. Makes Anthony Michael Hall fall asleep because of yawning. Then he walks around randomly to the song, "He's a Low Rider." He goes back in the car, wakes up Anthony Michael Hall, and oh, because Robert Zadar is in this, the maniac cop himself. But he doesn't really play as much of a big part as I thought, because it's been a while since I've seen this. Really, he's a guy in a suit that went to the beach to work out, then puts on his suit again. Which I'm like, is there a shower? I'm trying to think now. Is there a shower? Are there, for anyone who lives in California, are there showers there, like public showers, like when people work out? Otherwise, he put his sweaty ass back in that suit again. Maybe there is, but, or maybe he just had some towels, toweled him off, and didn't shower. And shitload of deodorant. You're zestfully clean. No, you're sure? You're unsure. No, you're sure, I guess. Rob Zadar, he's sure. So they follow him, and Rob Zadar, he's either blind or dumb of a character. He thinks this thing is a kid. And thinks it's Anthony Michael Hall's kid. Puts Anthony Michael Hall on a hook. Norm gets him out and hooks Rob Zadar in the crotch, which, I mean, you getting hooked in the crotch or in the ass. I don't know where. I'm guessing crotch. Pretty fucking severe. And you never see Rob Zadar again. So for all I know, he died of his injuries. And I don't know, there's really not much that I really cared a whole lot about in this movie. You get a little car chase. Find the bad guy. He gets shot. You find out who the real bad guy is. Spoilers. Starting now. The real bad guy is Jerry Orbach. Anthony Michael Hall's captain. His boss. And it really floundered at the end. It's almost as if I don't want to say it showed the lack of budget, but really, like, they get arrested, and there's a police lineup, and they strip him, and you see gnome ass. It was not something I ever needed to see in my life. And like, Jerry Orbach's performance, he's a good actor, but before we know he's a bad guy, we the audience, he's very nice, he's very kind, he's playing it very cool, being a sensible boss. But as soon as we know, not the characters, as soon as we the audience know he's the bad guy, he flips. He's being an asshole, he's ready to do this, ready to do... I'm like, Jerry, they don't know you're the bad guy. Only us, the audience, know you're the bad guy. Why don't you play it cool like you've done before? Maybe you would get away with this. But again, it's almost like, fuck, they know I'm a bad guy. No, we do. But they don't. But again, it's inconsistent how he turns automatically when we find out his behavior. Less finesse, more hot-headed. I'm like, whoa, this almost seems like two different characters, not the same character. But anyway. And really, it's not really that much of a big finale. They get out of jail, go back to the scene of the crime, that park. Gnome gets shot, but he's pretty much bulletproof, so it doesn't matter. Anthony Michael Hall punches Jerry Orbach a few times, and that's it. No, and then they say their goodbyes. Gnome kisses Claudia Christian, who just wanted to peck him on the cheek, but he's like, no, I'm going to stick my tongue down your throat. And then when he leaves, Anthony Michael Hall, Claudia Christian kiss, and then he comes back and go, come on, make your toes curl. I'm like, not many women curl when they kiss. It's something else that they'll make their toes curl. So I guess that's euphemism to, oh, you don't fuck your brains out? Do I have to do that for you? That's a weird science there. As a comedy, I didn't really find it funny. I just did. There's really not much I found funny in the movie. As an action film, there's really nothing to say about an action film. A very weak car chase. Teeny, blasé little gunfight sequences. So it's not really exciting or fun or thrilling as an action film. It's really not that funny as a comedy, as it's not meant for kids, because the fucking thing is always talking about asses and popos and pipas and pukas and roundies. Surprised he didn't mention anything about his dick, but he does get stripped and you see his ass. And Claudia Christian comes in, I guess she saw his dick. Thankfully we don't know how it is. No full frontal nudity, thankfully, for the gnome. And it's one of those things, like I said, it's an interesting failure, because I go, wow, Stan Winston directed this, who did such a magnificent job. You look at Pumpkinhead, and the way it's lit, like even the cinematography of Pumpkinhead, like when Pumpkinhead there's that scene with the cross, and the lighting, the color scheme of that lighting with Pumpkinhead, and with the music, and here is... I never would have guessed Stan Winston directed it. I guess its failure is why Stan Winston never directed it again, which is too bad. Because Pumpkinhead showed he had a lot of talent. This... it was you just say a bad idea in the first place, and just... this didn't work. This didn't work. So I think DC's a fan. I apologize. I don't mean to crap on the movie you like, but it just... the other movie he requested I did like, The Paperboy from 1994. I did like that movie. That'll be the next review. But this one, the concept is, I guess, goofy enough that you'd be intrigued, but it's for free on YouTube. And, I don't know, I guess if you can appreciate the effects of Norm, even though I think he's miscast, he's not really the most likable character, it's still interesting to see Anthony Michael Hall, because I like him as an actor. It's very, kind of a strange movie. So if that appeals to you, then sure, go for it. But, there you go. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.